Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. David. For over 30 years, I've worked in a major hospital here in the United States where every day I meet dozens of patients trying to live with what we call diabetes. Many of them come to me feeling tired of medications, tired of the numbers flashing on their glucose meters, and sometimes tired of their own fear. Once a man named Thomas, 61 years old, said to me, "Doctor, I've lived my whole life for my family. Now that I'm retired, I just want to enjoy life, but every meal feels like an exam. I feel trapped in numbers." I looked at him and smiled. "Thomas," I said, "your body isn't betraying you. It's simply asking to be cared for differently." I know many of you watching this video feel the same way. Maybe you've stared at your glucose meter and sighed. Maybe you've asked yourself, why does my blood sugar still swing, even when I eat carefully and exercise? I understand because for 3 decades, I've seen the same truth. The human body doesn't just need medicine, it needs understanding. When I was younger, I thought diabetes was only about sugar, eat less sugar, take medication, and that's it. But the longer I practiced, the clearer it became. Diabetes isn't just about sugar. It's about the loss of connection between your body, your mind, and what you nourish every single day. I've met patients who kept their blood sugar steady without increasing their medication simply because they understood what their body needed. They didn't fight diabetes, they lived with it calmly, wisely, and in balance. And through this journey, I discovered something fascinating. Tiny nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that seem insignificant are actually the keys to balance. I often tell my patients, if insulin is the door that lets sugar enter the cell, then vitamins and minerals are the keys that make that door work. Have you noticed this? Some days you eat right, sleep well, but still feel tired, restless, or even dizzy. That might not be a lack of medicine, but a lack of nutrients. Modern science shows that certain vitamins and minerals are essential for insulin sensitivity, reducing inflammation, and protecting your nerves. Yet most people over 50 are silently deficient every single day. I want you to imagine your body as an orchestra. Insulin is the conductor. Vitamins and minerals are the musicians. If a few are missing, the music still plays but out of harmony. And you begin to feel that offbeat fatigue, insomnia, numbness, thirst, or simply a strange feeling that you're no longer yourself. I don't want you to fear diabetes. I want you to understand it and master it. Because diabetes isn't a sentence. It's a reminder that it's time to listen to your body more gently and more deeply. In this video, I'll share with you 3 vitamins and 3 minerals, the biological pillars modern medicine recognizes for stabilizing blood sugar, restoring energy, and protecting the nervous system. But I won't just talk about numbers or studies. I'll tell you real stories about real people who found balance again in body and soul. Before we begin, remember this. Health doesn't come from control, it comes from understanding. And once you understand your body, you'll see blood sugar balance isn't a battle, it's a journey. A journey back to yourself. Vitamin D. If I had to choose one vitamin to begin with, one that connects sunlight, energy, and blood sugar, it would be vitamin D. I call it the light within. Because just like the morning sunlight that warms your skin, vitamin D awakens every cell, helping it listen and respond to insulin naturally and harmoniously. After years of practice, I've realized something troubling. Most Americans over 50 are vitamin D deficient, especially those who avoid the sun, live in colder regions, or spend much of their time indoors. And when the body lacks this inner light, what happens? Cells stop hearing insulin's signal. Insulin says, open the door, let the sugar in. But the cells reply, sorry, I can't hear you. And so sugar lingers in the blood, fatigue sets in, and insulin resistance begins to form. I remember one patient, Margaret, 64 years old. She was disciplined at well, did yoga, took her medication. Yet her blood sugar still fluctuated. When we ran a full panel, her vitamin D levels were extremely low. I asked, do you go out in the morning sunlight? She smiled, oh no, doctor. I'm afraid of the sun. I always wear sunscreen hats and stay indoors. I smiled back, Margaret, sunlight isn't your enemy. It's a friend if you know how to meet it. After taking daily vitamin D3 and spending 15 minutes in the morning sun, something remarkable happened. In 3 months, her HbA1c dropped by 0.5%. Her sleep deepened, her mood lifted, and she said, I just feel happier. Science confirms this. Vitamin D directly affects pancreatic beta cells, the ones that produce insulin. With enough vitamin D, insulin works better, cells respond better, and inflammation decreases. But beyond blood sugar, vitamin D also boosts mood, sleep, and immunity. That's why so many people feel low, tired, or irritable during winter when sunlight fades. I often tell my patients, Sometimes what you need isn't more medicine, it's more morning sunlight. Have you tried that feeling? Stepping outside early, breathing deeply as sunlight touches your skin, and feeling your heart slow down. That's not just beauty, that's biology. It's nature's free therapy. Harvard and Mayo Clinic studies show that people with vitamin D levels between 30-60 nmol tend to have better glucose control, less insulin resistance, and fewer nerve complications. So how do you maintain it? For older adults, 15-20 minutes of gentle morning sunlight daily. If you live in low sun areas or have darker skin, supplement with 1,000-2,000 IU of vitamin D3 based on your lab results. Vitamin D-rich foods include salmon, mackerel, eggs, low-fat milk, and cod liver oil, once called winter's magic oil by many Americans. But here's the real message. Vitamin D isn't just a supplement, it's a lifestyle. It's about reconnecting with light inside and out. Because when your cells are lit again, your body listens and balance naturally returns. Arna vitamin B12. Now let's talk about vitamin B12, the silent protector. B12 guards your nervous system and keeps your brain sharp and active. But here's the irony. People with diabetes who need B12 the most are often the ones who lack it the most. Let me tell you about Helen, 67, from California. She walked into my office slowly, her hands slightly trembling. "Doctor," she said, "lately my feet don't feel like mine. They're numb, heavy, and cold. I'm afraid my diabetes is getting worse." She'd been on metformin for 8 years, a common diabetes medication. I asked, "Have you ever checked your vitamin B12? She looked surprised. "No, I didn't think it mattered." The results confirmed it. Her B12 was very low. Helen, I explained, metformin works well, but it quietly reduces your gut's ability to absorb B12. Without enough B12, your nerves lose their protective coating and begin to fray. Her eyes softened. "So this numbness isn't just my blood sugar?" I nodded. B12 is like armor for your nerves. It maintains the myelin sheath like insulation around electrical wires so signals travel smoothly. When you're low on B12, those signals leak, causing tingling, pain, imbalance, or even anxiety and memory fog. Many people think they're simply getting old, but they're actually deficient. Oxford studies show that over 40% of adults over 60 have low B12, especially vegetarians or long-term metformin users. After just 2-3 months of proper supplementation, many of my patients notice real change. Deeper sleep, less numbness, sharper memory, in a brighter, calmer mood. Helen returned 3 months later, walking briskly, glowing with energy. "Doctor," she said, "I took a morning walk today. No more tingling. I feel alive again." I smiled to myself. That's the power of understanding. B12 not only protects nerves, but also helps make blood build DNA and turn food into energy. If you've ever felt tired despite eating well, your body might be missing the spark plug, vitamin B12. B12 is found in animal foods, fish, eggs, milk, beef, liver, seafood, and fortified cereals. But as we age, stomach acid drops, making absorption harder. That's why I tell patients, check your B12 once a year, especially if you take metformin or acid reducers. If levels are low, take B12 supplements, pills, sublinguals, or injections depending on your needs. But beyond numbers, here's what matters most. Every numb fingertip, every foggy thought, every restless night, these are messages from your body. And if you listen closely, you might discover something that can change your life. As I often tell my patients, your body never lies, it only whispers. Our job is to learn how to listen. Vitamin B12 is that whisper, quiet, gentle, but deeply vital. My dear friends, if the first two vitamins, D and B12, are like light and a shield that protects the body, then vitamin C is the quiet soldier silently fighting in every blood vessel, every cell, every breath. I call it the gatekeeper of life. Every single day, millions of microscopic reactions happen inside us, where oxygen, energy, sugar, and cells all work together. But along with that process come harmful agents called free radicals, tiny yet destructive molecules that can damage cells, cause inflammation, harden blood vessels, and reduce insulin sensitivity. And the one who steps up to clean to soothe the flames of inflammation is vitamin C. I remember one patient, Linda, 59 years old. She came to see me feeling exhausted with dry skin, restless nights, and unstable blood sugar. When I asked about her diet, she laughed and said, "I eat healthy, doctor. I cut out sugar completely and I avoid fruits, they're too sweet." I nodded, and that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. So many people with diabetes fear fruit so much that they unknowingly cut off their most important source of vitamin C, an essential nutrient for the body. After I encouraged her to add red bell peppers, broccoli, strawberries, and a few slices of orange each week just 2 months later, Linda returned saying, "Doctor, I feel different. My skin glows, I sleep better, and strangely, my morning blood sugar is more stable." I smiled. That's what happens when you let vitamin C do its job. Vitamin C isn't just the cold prevention vitamin. It's one of the body's most powerful antioxidants, protecting blood vessels, reducing inflammation, supporting the pancreas, and slowing cellular aging. Harvard research shows that people with higher blood levels of vitamin C have more stable blood sugar and an average HbA1c reduction of 0.501% compared to those who are deficient. But even more important, vitamin C improves insulin sensitivity, meaning glucose can enter cells more easily instead of staying trapped in the blood. Imagine this. Your blood vessels are like rivers flowing through you. When inflammation strikes from high sugar stress or oxidation, those rivers turn cloudy, their walls become damaged, and the flow slows down. Then vitamin C arrives like a gentle guardian, cleansing, calming, and helping the blood flow freely again. Your body feels lighter, your pressure eases, your skin brightens, and most importantly, your cells start listening to insulin again. Another patient, Charles, age 70, had lived with type 2 diabetes for over 15 years and always felt drained of energy. Tests showed he was severely low in vitamin C despite eating well. When he added warm lemon water in the morning, a few slices of kiwi or berries daily, and bell peppers at lunch, within weeks, his energy soared and he caught fewer colds. He smiled and said, "Doctor, I think I just found the secret to feeling 10 years younger." I replied, "Not magic, Charles. You just gave your body what it's been quietly asking for." Sometimes we don't need miracles, just a return to the simple things: a bowl of vegetables, an orange, a cup of warm water, and a few deep breaths. Vitamin C also helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone. And you know what stress is? Blood sugar's closest companion. When you're anxious, cortisol rises, and the liver releases more glucose as if preparing for danger. So by reducing stress even just a little, you naturally stabilize blood sugar. That's why I often tell my patients, sometimes what steadies your blood sugar isn't a pill, it's an orange and a quiet morning moment. Let vitamin C become your daily friend, not in pills, but in color. A red bell pepper, a piece of broccoli, a slice of kiwi, or a few drops of lemon in warm water. Every time you do, you send your body a gentle message. I'm taking care of you, I'm listening. And your body, I promise, will listen back with calm energy, vitality, and beautifully steady blood sugar. Serum, magnesium. If the first three vitamins are like light and breath that keep your body in harmony, then the first mineral I want to talk about is magnesium, the key that unlocks the insulin door. Because no matter how much insulin you have, without magnesium, the door that allows sugar to enter your cells remains shut. When I was a young doctor, I thought high blood sugar was simply a matter of not enough insulin. But over time, I realized the problem isn't the insulin, it's the door, the insulin resistance of the cell. And magnesium is the key that gently turns that door open. One of my patients, Robert, 72, a retired engineer, came to me with fluctuating blood sugar, nighttime cramps, morning fatigue, and a fast heartbeat. He said, "Doctor, I take my meds and eat carefully, but I feel weaker every day." I immediately suspected magnesium deficiency. His test confirmed it. His magnesium levels were very low. Over 60% of older adults are deficient in magnesium without realizing it. Why? Because magnesium is lost through sweat, urine, coffee, diuretics, and most of all, chronic stress. I told Robert magnesium is like an old friend, quietly helping you all your life until you forget it's there. After 3 months of gentle magnesium supplementation through food in small doses, something amazing happened. He came back saying, "Doctor, for the first time in years, I slept 6 hours straight, no cramps, and my blood sugar is steadier than ever." That's not magic, that's nature's science. Magnesium helps insulin work better and participates in over 300 biochemical reactions, from energy production to heart rhythm and muscle relaxation. When you're low in magnesium, your body feels like an out-of-tune instrument. Fatigue, insomnia, palpitations, cramps, unstable blood sugar. Studies at Yale and Harvard show that maintaining normal magnesium reduces type 2 diabetes risk by up to 30% and improves insulin sensitivity and inflammation in those who already have diabetes. I tell my patients, don't think of magnesium as a pill, think of it as a lifestyle. It's found in simple, beautiful foods. A handful of pumpkin seeds, almonds, or sunflower seeds daily. A plate of spinach or broccoli with dinner. A bowl of soybeans, oatmeal, or a ripe banana. They're not just food, they're nature's quiet medicine. One autumn morning, Robert called me and said softly, "Doctor, I don't know what magnesium has done, but I feel peaceful, like my body's been recharged." I smiled, because magnesium doesn't just calm your body, it calms your mind. When magnesium is restored, your heart beats steady, your nerves relax, your sleep deepens, and everything inside you moves in rhythm again. So if you live with diabetes or simply want better health, ask yourself, am I low on magnesium? You may not need a lab test. Your body whispers it through small signs: fatigue, tight muscles, restless sleep, or a racing heart. Sometimes one glass of mineral water, a handful of seeds, or a plate of greens is enough to unlock the door your body's been waiting for. Because when magnesium returns, balance returns. Insulin flows, sugar enters, and you once again feel the quiet peace of a body that knows how to heal itself. Or zinc. When I was a young doctor, I used to think small wounds didn't matter. But working with diabetic patients taught me this. No wound is small when your body can't heal. One patient, Jonathan, 69, a retired carpenter, came with a small scratch on his leg, no bigger than a fingertip, that hadn't healed for a month. He said, "Doctor, I clean it every day, use ointment, but it just won't close. I'm scared of infection." His blood sugar was a bit high, but what caught my attention was his very low zinc level. "Do you eat seafood or nuts often?" I asked. He laughed. "Not really, my teeth are weak, and my wife doesn't like the smell of fish." I smiled. "Jonathan, maybe your body is missing a friend called zinc, the quiet protector of your pancreas, your healing, and your immune strength." Zinc may seem small, but it's the body's gatekeeper of repair. It's involved in over 300 biological processes, from DNA synthesis and protein production to creating new cells and supporting the pancreas where insulin is made. When zinc is low, insulin release falters, cells become more resistant, and even wounds struggle to heal. As I tell my patients, if insulin is the melody, zinc is the rhythm. Without it, everything falls out of sync: heartbeat, blood sugar, wound healing, even mood, because zinc also helps produce serotonin, the happiness hormone. After just a few weeks of zinc supplementation, Jonathan's wound began to close dry and heal beautifully. He smiled and said, "Doctor, it's healed. I thought I'd live with it forever." I told him, "No, Jonathan. Your body still knows how to heal, it just needed a little help." Science supports this. People with diabetes and low zinc have higher inflammation, slower healing, and weaker immunity. Johns Hopkins research found that 20-30 milligrams of zinc daily can improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and speed tissue repair. What I love most about zinc is its humility. It's not as flashy as vitamin D or C, but it's patient. Zinc is like a careful carpenter, repairing quietly, patiently, from your skin to your pancreas. And how fitting Jonathan the carpenter was the first to truly understand this. He told me, "Doctor, I've worked with wood all my life. When it cracks, I know that with patience, sanding, and care, it can be whole again." The body's the same, isn't it? I nodded. "Yes, Jonathan. Zinc is the body's gentle craftsman. It doesn't fix overnight, but with patience, it restores." Zinc is abundant in seafood, especially oysters, crab, shrimp, beef liver, pumpkins, seeds, oats, and soy. And if you can't eat much meat, don't worry. A handful of roasted pumpkin seeds or a bowl of oatmeal can help you maintain natural zinc levels. I often remind my patients, don't see food as the enemy. See it as your teacher, because each meal is a chance to heal not just your body, but your spirit. Zinc doesn't just balance blood sugar, it reminds your body of its natural ability to heal. If your wounds heal slowly, your hair sheds, your nails are brittle, or your recovery feels sluggish, maybe it's time to listen to this quiet friend again. Give your body that chance, and you'll see within weeks everything starts to change. As Jonathan once told me, the body is like wood. It may crack, it may wear, but with care it can be made whole again. And zinc is the pair of hands that makes it so. My dear friends, if magnesium is the key that unlocks the insulin door, and zinc is the quiet craftsman repairing the pancreas, then chromium is the guide, the one who helps blood sugar find its way home. I often tell my patients, sugar isn't the enemy. The problem is that it gets lost. Chromium is like a kind traffic officer guiding glucose safely into your cells to make energy instead of letting it wander through your bloodstream, causing fatigue and damaging your vessels. I remember one patient, Mr. Howard, 65, who came in looking worried. "Doctor," he said, "I don't understand why my blood sugar jumps around. Some days it's normal, other days it spikes even when I eat the same food." When I looked at his tests, everything was fine, except one thing: he was low in chromium. I asked, "Do you eat whole grains, vegetables, or greens often?" He smiled. "Not really. I like white bread, white rice, and some meat." I didn't know grains mattered. I explained that chromium is a trace mineral the body needs only a tiny amount, but without it, the entire blood sugar system becomes unstable. Chromium improves insulin sensitivity, meaning when insulin knocks on the cell's door, the door opens faster, easier. Without it, your cells become sluggish, glucose stays in the blood, and you feel tired, thirsty, sleepy, or crave sugar. Chromium works like a translator between insulin and the cell, helping them understand each other. I told Mr. Howard, your body's trying its best, but your insulin speaks English and your cells speak French. Chromium is the translator. He laughed. Then I guess I'll learn to speak my body's language. 3 months later, he returned with his blood sugar log. The numbers were steady. He smiled and said, I feel lighter, doctor. My body isn't fighting me anymore. Science confirms this. Harvard research found that 200 micrograms of chromium picolinate daily can lower HbA1c by 0.6 to 0.8% in type 2 diabetics, a meaningful improvement. What I love about chromium is its gentleness. It doesn't force the body. It simply reminds it softly to restore balance. Chromium is found in broccoli, sweet potatoes, raisins, eggs, lean beef, and whole grains. If you love morning coffee, note that caffeine can reduce chromium absorption, so it's best to eat chromium-rich foods or take supplements after breakfast. I tell my patients, let your breakfast be a gift to your pancreas, not a burden. A slice of whole grain bread, a boiled egg, a few steamed veggies, and a cup of warm tea sometimes. That's all it takes for insulin and chromium to work hand in hand. Over the years, I've seen chromium do more than balance blood sugar. It helps people regain faith in their own bodies. Mr. Howard once said, I thought my body was old and broken, but now I see it still listens. I just needed to speak the right language. I smiled. Your body never stopped listening. It's been waiting for the language of care, of nourishment, of patience. And that's what I want to leave with you today. There is no hopeless body, only one that hasn't been understood or loved enough. Chromium, magnesium, zinc. They're small, but they're the quiet workers running the great factory of your body. When they're supplied, everything runs smoothly. Cells cooperate, insulin works, blood sugar stabilizes, and you feel like yourself again. Chromium doesn't work overnight, but it restores hope that your body can heal if you give it the chance. Tonight, as you sit for dinner, look at your plate. Is it missing color, missing life? Does it have greens, grains, or the natural colors of real food? Because sometimes one piece of broccoli, one boiled egg, one warm bowl of grains is enough to remind your body how to find its balance again. Integrating the 6 nutrients. We've come a long way from the light of vitamin D, the protection of B12, the healing power of vitamin C, to the quiet strength of magnesium, zinc, and chromium. 6 nutrients, small but mighty, each like an instrument in your body's grand symphony. And when they play in harmony, something beautiful happens. Your blood sugar stabilizes, energy returns, sleep deepens, your spirit lightens, and you feel alive again. Patients often ask me, Doctor, where do I start? How do I combine these in daily life? And I always say, don't overcomplicate it. Listen, your body will teach you how to eat again. Start your day with sunlight, nature's purest vitamin D. Spend 10-15 minutes outdoors, breathe deeply, let the light touch your skin. That's not just a morning routine, it's your body flipping the switch back to life. Then give yourself a nourishing breakfast. 1 slice of whole grain bread or oatmeal, natural chromium to steady your blood sugar. 1 boiled egg rich in B12 and zinc. Few steamed broccoli, florets, or red bell peppers, vitamin C to fight inflammation. A cup of warm lemon water, gentle cleansing, and natural vitamin C. Eat slowly. Savor each bite. Notice how your body feels. Breakfast isn't just nutrition, it's your first conversation with your body. Lunch is when blood sugar tends to fluctuate most. But with the right foods, balance comes naturally. I tell my patients, let your plate show 3 colors: green, yellow, and brown. Green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, broccoli, rich in magnesium. Yellow chicken, salmon, or lentils full of vitamin D and zinc. Brown whole grains or brown rice, chromium and fiber to stabilize glucose. And if you can finish with fruit, kiwi, strawberries, or half an orange, just enough vitamin C to boost absorption and immunity. Remember, fruit isn't the enemy, imbalances. When you eat wisely, the right kind, right time, right portion, fruits become allies, not threats. Evening is when the body repairs itself. To restore and rebuild, you need magnesium, zinc, and B12, the night shift workers of your biology. A light, calming dinner could be a bowl of green soup with spinach, soybeans, and pumpkin seeds, magnesium magic. Eat a piece of grilled salmon or boiled egg, vitamin D, B12, and zinc. End with a warm cup of lemon water or ginger turmeric tea, soothing inflammation and calming nerves. Take a short walk after dinner, breathe slowly, feel your heartbeat settle. That's not just exercise, that's healing in motion. You see, health isn't born from strict control, it comes from gentle understanding. Over 30 years, I've met thousands of patients, each with fear, hope, and stories to tell. Most leave my office smiling because they finally realize the body isn't our enemy, it's been waiting for us to listen. Vitamin D, B12, C, magnesium, zinc, chromium. They're not miracles in a bottle. They're fragments of life itself, light breath color, reminders of the natural harmony our bodies once knew. So remember, let sunlight touch your skin. Let greens, grains, fish, and fruit back into your meals. Yani, let your heart rest fully at night. Because every meal is an act of love, every breath an invitation to heal. And true health isn't about age. It's about how gently you treat yourself today. I'm Dr. David. If this video brought you value, please like, subscribe, and share it, because your one small act today might just change someone's tomorrow. Let's build a community where everyone understands health isn't luck. It's love and awareness in action. Thank you for listening. And if you do just one thing today, let it be this. Promise yourself that starting tomorrow, you'll listen to your body and treat it like an old friend who deserves to be loved again. Because sometimes healing doesn't come from a pill. It comes from how you live, how you eat, and how you love yourself every single day.